When my mom found out she was pregnant again, we were all overjoyed at the news of a new addition to our family. However, our joy soon turned to worry when, after months of doctor's visits and ultrasound scans, doctors noticed that something was seriously wrong and urged my parents to terminate the pregnancy. What my parents chose forever affected the way I view the value of life and ultimately why I believe it should be protected. When you hear the word pro-life, what do you think? Maybe you picture protesters or crisis pregnancy centers, but most likely you think of abortion. And you wouldn't be the only one. According to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, the term pro-life means opposed to abortion. Growing up in a conservative household, the term pro-life was used a lot. But as I got older, I began to wonder, what does this term really mean? Is it really just about ending abortion, or does it represent something more? What does it mean to be pro-life in 2020? Today, I would like to urge you that being pro-life means protecting all life, not just ending abortion. And to support this point, I will be looking at 3 points today. Number 1, the beginning of life. Number 2, what pro-life should mean. And number 3, why this interpretation is important. So let's start at the very beginning, specifically the beginning of life. Even before the science was developed, both Hippocrates and Pythagoras believed that personhood or ensoulment began in the womb. Jeremiah 1:4-5 says, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I consecrated you." Additionally, from a scientific perspective, life begins at conception. According to the Charlotte Lozier Institute, the conclusion that human life begins at sperm-egg fusion is uncontested, objective, based on the universally accepted scientific method of distinguishing different cell types from each other, and on ample scientific evidence. In other words, essentially, biological life begins at sperm and egg fusion. Thus, life begins not when the heart starts beating, not when the fetus can feel pain, but at the moment when sperm and egg meet. For many people, from this point until birth is the majority of what the pro-life movement is concerned about. Yet, innocent life is under attack in a variety of ways besides abortion. According to philosopher Peter Singer, he wrote, "In the next 35 years, the traditional view of the sanctity of human life will collapse under pressure from scientific, technological, and demographic developments," unquote. And the effects of this mindset are widespread. The most well-known example of this is the nearly 60 million children aborted since Roe v. Wade's decision in 1973. Additionally, rates of suicide, according to psychologytoday.com, have increased 33% from 1999 through to 2017. And every year, nearly 1,750 children die due to abuse and neglect, according to childhelp.org. All of these instances are very graphic examples of life being taken, but there's also other ways that life is undermined, by simply viewing disabled people as less valuable, or even just general disrespect for other people. All of these instances deal with how we treat life, but most aren't considered pro-life issues. So what do I mean when I say pro-life? Ultimately, the foundational belief of the pro-life movement is the sanctity of human life, or the belief that all life is important and should not be taken unjustly. On a practical level, the American Center for Law and Justice writes, "To be pro-life is to defend the unborn, the disabled, the widowed, and the orphaned, like organizations serving those with special needs or helping families adopt orphans. To be pro-life is to serve the least of these in communities next door and across the oceans, like organizations serving the homeless or refugees who have fled war zones. To be pro-life is to build institutions that promote the flourishing of all human beings," unquote. Promoting life at all stages is beneficial. In the case of disabled children, if given the chance, they can have joyful lives. Disability rights activist Pasquale Toscano writes, "Despite the fear and anxiety that many parents of disabled children initially have, published research shows that with proper support, they routinely end up satisfied with their lives. Moreover, the lives of adults with impairments are hardly devoid of joy. Additionally, when suicide is prevented, people often realize that their life is worth living." According to Dr. Whitlock, writing for psychologytoday.com, "We should not be preventing suicide.